Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us Across the Fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. We've been reporting on robotics programs in Vermont schools for many years. These activities are a way to get young people involved in science, technology, engineering, and math, referred to as STEM. Like after-school or town recreational sports programs, robotics encourages life skills of cooperation, resiliency, and professionalism. Across the Fence visited a school in Chittenden County where success is being built one Lego brick at a time. Here's Keith Silva with our story.
There's a robot uprising happening at Westford Elementary.
No, they are not fighting robots.
Yeah, everything works!
It's about teamwork and learning.
It's like something fun that you can do with your friends, that it's not boring at all.
It's a way for kids to have fun and learn new stuff.
It's the hardest fun you'll ever have.
Mark Drapa is one of the coaches of Westford Elementary's robotics program, where, as the school's trophy case shows, robotics has gained a place of prominence.
My favorite tagline is, we don't use kids to build robots, we use robots to build kids.
2,
That's
3. Yes.
Thank you.
We're a K-8 school. There's roughly 180, 190 students here, and we have 4 teams. They're middle school teams. We have about 30 kids participating. So if you look at it, that's a huge percentage of our population.
Westford Robotics is part of FIRST, the world's leading youth-serving nonprofit advancing science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM. Westford Elementary competes in the First Lego League, or FLL. The competition is divided into 2 sections, the robot game and the innovation project. In the robot game, students design, build, and program an autonomous robot that has 2.5 minutes to maneuver a game board. Points are awarded for different tasks the robot accomplishes.
It's going to look totally different for every single team. Their strategies are going to be totally different, and that's the whole point. It's very open-ended. So kids are challenged to come up with interesting or new ideas or ways to accomplish it. When you get told there's only one answer, it tends to limit your thinking. When you say there's limitless answers, well, you tend to get some really cool designs.
It's math with angles and like measuring, but it's also kind of engineering in a way because you're making a robot, then you're making it better and making attachments. So it's both engineering, science, and math.
I'm really good with computers, and I like trying to make something like that's like, once you do it at the end, it all pieces together and you feel very satisfied.
Our team also shared our work with our Westford.
The innovation project is a public presentation. First, teams are assigned a topic and asked to research a real-world challenge connected to that topic. The topic for this year's competition is energy. One of Westford's teams has developed a robot that deters squirrels from climbing on power lines and causing outages. They've dubbed their robot the Squirrelinator.
Kind of looks like just like a bunch of different Lego pieces, but it has these sensors so that if a squirrel or another animal comes along the wires, it can sense them, then it makes a sound like a car honk. If it comes closer, it makes a predator sound like a dog barking.
Okay.
And there's this little motor on the bottom that like spins so that it makes that whirring sound and it vibrates.
Find a problem that you believe you want to solve. And so teams are then tasked to come up with a solution to that problem. So the invention process. When you invent, you have to build a prototype. You have to test it. You have to share it with experts, get feedback, and improve. So that's the engineering design process, and all of our teams have done that.
Like any after-school sport or activity, students learn lessons that aren't always taught during the school day.
Ah, there it is, innovation project.
I do a couple sports, and like those are fun. You get a lot of like activity, but this is just more like you get to express yourself more creatively than you do in sports. And I really like expressing myself creatively.
I can make a robot, which is, it's cool. This is more like visual learning and hands-on learning, actually doing the stuff that you'd learn from a book or like somebody telling you it.
This is sort of like one of the only STEM-based activities that I do, and I just really like the challenge of it, stepping outside of my comfort zone to like code this robot. Before this, I knew nothing about it. It's just super cool to have this experience.
One of the experiences Drapa and the FIRST organization want to impart is that failure is an option, and it's even encouraged.
Failure is a necessary step towards success, right? In any endeavor, you've got to know what doesn't work, and that's just as important information as what does work. When something doesn't work, the students take ownership, they saw what happened, and they're off to the corner changing code, changing their mechanical design to try one more time. Every failure gives me one more clue to how this is going to work right. That's how great invention happens. That's how great engineering happens.
In school, I'm not really always confident in my math and science skills, but in robotics, it doesn't have to be perfect because you can try it. If it doesn't work, just be like, oh, I need to adjust it by 2 degrees, and then it'll work.
I like best that it kind of shows you how much you can do and how much you're capable of.
There's a lot of failure, but also the failure is just a stepping stone to success.
In addition to learning to fail, these young people are growing up in a world where coding and computers are essential to life.
Every child right now in school is going to be dealing with tech in their life. They're either going to be writing code, managing people who do, or using machines or other systems that are code-based. This is a reality. How do you work with folks in that setting? So watching kids be able to have a peer relationship that is going to build on each other's strengths has to start here.
When he's not helping foster an esprit de corps of fun and learning, Drapa works as an electrical and computer engineer for Global Foundries. He's seen firsthand how the life skills that develop from robotics programs will impact the future of these students.
We've started to see an industry that a lot of our most successful new hires have a history of being in FIRST LEGO League. Some of the premier universities have said, your student is in FIRST Robotics, we have scholarships for you because they're a safe bet. These kids have gone through a lot. They've built so many skill sets and they can persevere. When things get tough, they have the tool set to address any issue. You'll hear them talking about debugging. They can debug a social problem, they can debug a robot problem.
Workforce development, common cause, and above all, having fun. The future is now at Westford Elementary. In Westford, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
And here's an update. At a recent FIRST LEGO Lead Vermont State Championship, the 4 teams from Westford won half the awards given out at the competition. Congratulations, Westford. And there's more. Coming up this Saturday, February 11th, there's another statewide FIRST robotics competition. It's happening at CVU High School in Heinsberg. The competition is open to the public, and the opening ceremonies kick off at 10 o'clock. The competition runs throughout the day. And joining me now to talk about robots, students, and life skills is Liz Kenton, a UVM Extension 4-H Youth Agriculture Project Coordinator. Welcome, Liz.
Good morning, Fran.
So what is the connection between UVM Extension 4-H and the FIRST robotics teams in Vermont?
They're both youth development programs interested in skill building. And so we now have a partnership with 4-H and the College of Engineering for outreach around the FIRST Technical Challenge program. And it makes sense to be part of the whole continuity of programs. FIRST LEGO League for the youngest kids, FIRST Technical Challenge for middle school through high school, and FIRST Robotics Competition for the older kids with much larger robots. So from pre-K through 18, there's robotics opportunities to build life skills and technical skills through all those programs. So it's a real nice fit.
Cool. And the robots, of course, get all the attention at these events, but there's much more to the competitions than just robots. Talk about the public speaking and presentation portion of what's referred to as the innovation project. How does this aspect of FIRST Robotics incorporate industry and the community?
Well, the Innovation Project is one of the awards in the FIRST LEGO League, and each program level has different awards. They all address different aspects of engineering. Like Mark was talking about, there's a lot of social skills that go into tech work. The Innovation Project, they're looking at a problem in their community, and I got a chance to be a judge at the FLL competition this past week and got to see some of the innovation projects presented. Part of the judging rubric is, who did you talk to? What were the hardest parts? How did you work together as a team? How did you change your design? So really thinking through the process. Hopefully some of these projects, some of them look pretty practical. They may actually happen in the community. At the FTC level, the First Tech Challenge, there are awards around community outreach, around mentoring other teams. And we've had quite a few FTC teams starting FLL teams and mentoring the younger kids. There's awards for engineering design. Part of it is documenting their whole process. So really kind of looking at all the aspects of youth development through the vehicle of building robots.
Awesome, and I love that there are all of these sections. And we were looking at elementary school, which is amazing, in these ideas, including the Squirrelinator. How do these presentations and ideas that FIRST teams develop gain traction beyond the competition?
I think it depends. We're starting to gather data on, are they being implemented? I think as important as if the specific project gets implemented in one community are the skills and connection the kids are building through doing the project, with each other. They're learning to work together as a team. They're learning how towns work, how municipal presentations, they're presenting at school boards. So there's making these connections that will stand them in good stead as they get older.
Right, and we heard from in the video that in FIRST Robotics, it can lead to college scholarships and employment. Have you heard of similar stories from other robotics programs?
Absolutely. I mean, FIRST, there are specific scholarships from quite a few leading tech universities for FIRST alumni. They really seek these kids out because they do have both the tech skills, and one of the basic values in the FIRST program is gracious professionalism. Your opponent in one match might be your ally in the next match. People help each other out, share parts, swap technical advice. So they're really sought out. And as Mark was saying also, there's quite a few FIRST alumni in tech businesses in Vermont, and we're working to connect through ag and forestry, are using the sensors and a lot of similar things. So there's overlap there as well.
So exciting, Liz. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing this great story with us today.
Thanks, Fran.
And thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.